Hey book besties, as you can see from the title, let's get into the 6 black narrative novels, 3 that I've read and 3 that I'm excited to read. Before we do, make sure to subscribe to the tribe, especially if you love books with diverse narratives, just like me. Okay, let's get started. This month I read Aaron E. Adams' Jackal. Such an amazing tale. The main character is from a small town in Pennsylvania. It's called Jonestown, and she returns to attend her best friend's wedding. In this small town, there is a very small population of black people, and she finds out because her best friend's daughter goes missing that there has been literally decades of young black girls that go missing in the woods and have no explanation for why. When their bodies turn up, they are missing a heart. She goes on a crazy adventure, not only into the past but into her own past, as she relives the horrible night that one of her classmates goes missing, and she was one of the last people to see her alive. There's not a whole lot of clarity whether what's happening is, something racial or if it's magical realism. But when I tell you this book takes you for a ride, it takes you for a ride. I would highly recommend. Now, because I read this wonderful black thriller this month, I am very excited to read yet another black thriller called Not So Perfect Strangers by L.S. Stratton. I'm really excited for this, mostly because it is centered about 45 minutes to an hour away from my hometown, so that makes me feel like, ooh, a hometown hero. But I believe the premise of this book, from what I gathered from the back and what I've looked up, is that it features two main characters. It features the main character, I believe her name is Tasha, and she's decided to leave a very abusive marriage. And she actually, fate twists and turns as she's running from her abusive husband. She meets a white woman who's in the same predicament, that is literally running for her life, and stops banging on her door and asking to be let in as a man comes charging behind her. Both of them have in common, that they're wanting to get out of these very abusive and toxic marriages, but they have two very different ideals of how to do so. And essentially the background plot is that they're also kind of running away from the DC MPD homicide unit. So obviously somebody died, and I want to know why. So I'm really excited to read this. I'm really looking forward to this. I think these two books are really similar because they not only show the intersectionality of being a woman, like they are women's fiction, but they also show the importance of discussions of race, especially within American culture, and showing the stark differences that even if you grow up in the same place or you live maybe miles apart, that people are worlds away because of class and race. So I'm really excited to read this, and please make sure you stay tuned because a very detailed review is coming so soon for this. Up next, we are teetering from thriller into kind of horror fantasy. The first book that we have that I finished again this month is Tender Beast by Lisel Sambury. Love all things Lisel Sambury. I was so impressed with this particular novel. It centers Sunny, the main character. After her mother dies, they are part of a very wealthy black family in a relatively not very diverse town once again. But alongside that, her youngest brother Dom, who was always kind of the outcast and never really fully embraced by her mother, is being accused of murder, and murders keep happening in the wake of trying to navigate the trial that he's already a part of. Lots of family secrets are spilled. There's also a tinge of magical realism that lines this particular plot. And when I tell you, my favorite thing about Lisel Sambury is that she can write family. She can write a family. I'm literally reading the second installment of her Black Witch duology called Blood Like Magic and Blood Like Fate. I'm currently on Blood Like Fate, and there's just so many moments where I catch myself about to literally burst into tears because she can write the complexity of the unconditional love that you have for family, even when they've hurt you the most, how you still want to protect them. Oh, it's so good. So I highly recommend this, especially if you like magical realism, horror, and gore. It's in this particular book. Now, a book that I'm excited to read, consequently also by Lisel Sambury, is called Delicious Monsters. Now, this one is a dual narrative. They're both YA. It's a dual narrative where the main character moves into a haunted mansion, and it's also being told alongside another young girl who was the same age, another black girl that lived in the mansion before but either went missing or died under strange circumstances. But the main character is a medium, so it's navigating her kind of dealing with trauma from her childhood, as well as trying to figure out what the story is with the spirits that are inhabiting this particular mansion. That's what I know so far. I'm very excited about it. Everything that Lizelle Sambury writes is so wonderful, because not only does she know how to represent blackness in a way that feels super easy and niche without a whole lot, she also does an amazing job at showing different family dynamics and the complexity of family. So I am really excited to read this. At the beginning, I believe at the end of last month, I actually think it is, I read Their Vicious Game by Joel Wellington. This book was advertised to me as The Bachelor meets Hunger Games. Chef's kiss. But when I did some more research, I actually stumbled upon the other book that we're going to talk about. But this particular novel is so interesting. It follows Adina Walker as she is navigating her Yale acceptance being rescinded after years of fighting tooth and nail in this elite academy. It gets rescinded because somebody that she thought was a friend, they get into an altercation. And just when she thinks all hope is lost, she finds out that there is an opportunity to do something called The Finish, which is hosted by a very disgustingly wealthy family that founded the town that she's in, as well as the academy that she went to. The things that she's heard about The Finish is that young women that go through The Finish end up becoming literal powerhouses in the industries that they want. But there is quite a bit of a twist in this deadly game that she throws herself into, where the old theme of be careful what you wish for definitely becomes prevalent. So I overstand for this particular novel. Though it got 4 stars for me on Goodreads, it's only off the strength of the fact that it was, you know, very straightforward, fast-paced, great suspenseful thriller, but, you know, nothing absolutely out of, you know, range. But I'm very excited about this because this book was also described as Ace of Spades meets Squid Games. And I was like, what's Ace of Spades? I need to be all over that. And that brings us to our last book, Ace of Spades, which I am very, very excited to get into. I know that it is giving me more of Pretty Little Liars, if I'm honest. I did a little bit more research on it, but essentially these two rivals that are, again, in a very elite high school academia that are vying neck and neck for valedictorian are thrown into this nefarious plot where an anonymous troll is expelling secrets about them to the entire school, and they have to work together in order to figure out what's happening, why they're doing it. And on the cover it says, "How do you stop an unknown enemy?" Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this one. I'm very, very excited because I actually read a short horror story by this author. Her name is Faride Abike Yemide. If I'm wrong, I'm going to insert the right thing. I'm so sorry, my good sis. I have an African name too. But I am so excited to read this because I recently reading a short horror story by her in an anthology, a horror anthology series called The White Guy Dies First. I'm really, really excited. I don't know. I'm really excited. I feel like I have a really good crop of Black narrative novels to get me through this month. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Give this a thumbs up and subscribe down below, as well as hitting that bell notification so you're notified every single time I post and upload. And once again, if you are looking for a fantasy story or a fiction story with a Black narrative, I'm your girl. So don't forget, Whimsically Grown. Thanks so much for watching, and let me know down in the comments some Black narratives that you enjoyed, or if you've read any of those and what you think about it. I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.